Hey, Magic fans, welcome back. This is your captain speaking here on Captain Clyde's MTG. We're back again for another beautiful day of leaks and spoilers for Baldur's Gate Commander Legends. That's right, so before we get started, make sure you subscribe up because I could really use the help as we're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. So do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, click that notification bell. Comments down below is going to feed that YouTube algorithm and I really appreciate any support you can give. Also, too, if you're looking for magic cards, link in the description to my eBay store where you can find all the cards from the box opening series shipped to you free of charge, no shipping, and it helps support the channel to do more box opening later that you all really enjoy. Also, if you've done everything that you can and you want to actually help a little more, there's a Patreon page where you can donate monthly. And with that donation, you'll get extra magic cards, swag, and even special box prices when they come up um, to help get you some of the cheapest magic cards that you can get because times are tough, and trust me, I know. And if you just want to reach out and say hi, check out my email in the description. Feel free to reach out. I'm more than happy to talk to you guys and make videos upon request because, yeah, I've got nothing better to do. But I do. But anyway, so let's get into it and take a look at these sweet spoilers. So tray tables and seat backs are in full upright position because first thing in, we have a reprint, Traverse the Outlands. This, I believe, is a reprint from the list and it has been in the list for a while. So it's a green and 4. Search your library for the X basic lands where X is the greatest power among creatures you control. Put those cards on the battlefield tap, then shuffle your library. This sounds a lot like the list card. I probably should have checked, but I didn't because I'm a professional. Moving on. Anyway, next we have Inspired Tinkering, red and 4 sorcery. Exile the top 3 cards of your library. Until your next turn, you can play those cards, which is pretty sweet already. And you get 3 treasure tokens, which are going to help you cast those cards. So if you're casting it for 5, you're already got 5 mana access, and 3 more makes it 8, which means you're probably going to play any of them. Not to mention, if one of them's a land, you can put it into play. I think this is going to be a pretty sweet card for Commander, but being a sorcery, might not see a whole lot of play. Next, we have the Ancient Gold Dragon Mythic. So this dragon is 2 white and 5 for a 7/10 flyer. And when this bad boy punches you in the face, you get to roll die 20. When you do, you create a number of 1/1 blue fairy dragon token creatures with flying equal to that result. That's insane. So yeah, all the mythic dragons are going to be all part of the dragon decks of some way, shape, or form, and probably all going to be worth a lot of money. Because hey, if you'll pay 7, 8 mana for Old Gnawbone, 7 mana for something like this really seems like a deal. So moving right along. Next we have Sculpted Sunburst. This is very interesting. It's a 2 white and 3 sorcery. So you choose a creature you control, then each opponent chooses a creature they control with equal or lesser power. If you choose a creature this way, exile each creature not chosen by any player this way. So basically it's a 5 mana wrath. But if you have a small creature you want to keep around for your combo, you can wipe out bigger creatures because it'll protect the small ones. For example, if you have an 0/3 guy part of your combo, right? You can pick your 0/3, and they have to pick somebody with equal or lesser value, which means everybody who has 1 toughness or higher is dead. They're dead, Jim. So I think this will probably be a pretty cool card and probably used quite often just because of its ability to protect certain creatures. And we have another gate. It's a common, but it's called Basilisk Gate. So this gate actually taps for a colorless, but for 2 colorless, you can tap it, and a creature you control gets +X/+X to the end of turn, where X is the number of gates you control, activate only as a sorcery. This thing, as a common, is absurd, especially in a gate deck, because now you can actually run creatures. Oh, look, I have a 1/1 Death Touch Trampler. Oh, look, I'm going to spend 2 mana, tap my Basilisk Gate, which now I have 8 lands. So now I have my 1/1 is now a 9/9 Trampling Death Toucher. Yeah, this is just absurd. This is going to be an amazing common in the gate deck. Moving on, we have Moot. So it's 8 colorless, 7/7 Trampler. Cool thing is, when it enters the battlefield, if mana from a treasure was spent to cast it, create a treasure token for each mana from a treasure spent to cast it. basically saying if you can get 8 treasures on the board, you cast this bad boy for free, which is kind of cool, and I'm sure some kind of way around that, but uh, seems pretty sweet. It is a common, so probably only going to see draft unless there becomes a really powerful treasure deck, which at this point, with gates and everything else out there, anything's possible. All right, we have a reprint for Bagger Holding. For those guys who don't remember this, this was in tons of sets, but mainly D&D. For one, you get an artifact that whenever you discard a card into your graveyard, you get to exile it instead. For 2, you can draw a card and discard a card. Pretty sweet. And then for 4, every card exiled with Bag of Holding goes back to your hand after you sacrifice it. Great card. It's only an uncommon, probably good for draft. This card's been out for a while. Nobody's really playing it, so just another reprint. All right, Manifold Key. That's right. For 1 colorless, we have another artifact that lets you untap another target artifact for 1, and 3, target creature can't be blocked this turn. You know, so, nothing like having something else to untap your all them rocks you got that produce extra mana. So yeah, this is going to be very popular. People are probably going to play a lot of it, and the foils for this are probably going to be pretty pricey. Moving on. Next, we have Nature's Lore reprint. So for a green and 1 sorcery, search your library for a force card, put that card in the battlefield, then shuffle. It's almost like Rampant Growth, but worse. But yeah, if you're playing green and you like forest, this is definitely going to be in your deck. This is an amazing land fetch card. Yeah, nothing else to say about that. Next, we have Circle of the Land Druid. So a green and 1 for a 1/1. It's a gnome druid. Funny. When he enters the battlefield, you may mill 4 cards because why not? Natural recovery. When Circle of Life Druid dies, return target land card from your graveyard to your hand. I mean, this is fine, I guess. There may be a deck this is good in, but honestly, unless you're playing draft, and even then's iffy, I don't think it's going to see a whole lot of play. Next, we have Breath Weapon. So roll for save. No, I'm joking. For a red and 3, you have an instant that deals 2 damage to each non-dragon creature. Get it? Dragon. Breath Weapon. Thank you. I'll see myself out. Moving on. Next here we have Hezro. I have Hezro. We have a big ugly thing. Anyway, this big ugly thing is 2 black and 5 for a 6/6. Whenever 1 or more creatures you control become blocked, each blocking creature gets -1/-1 at the end of the turn. Not that great for a common. However, Demonic Stench, which is an adventure for 1 black, each creature that blocked this turn gets -1/-1. This could very well wipe out an entire board. And it's a frog demon. What more do you want? Yeah, nothing like going, oh, I'm going to attack with all my guys. I'll block with all my 1/1 tokens. Oh, yeah? Well, I'll Demonic Stench and kill all your 1/1 tokens. So, anyway, moving on. Next, we have a young blue dragon. So, for a blue and 4, we get a 3/3 flyer, pretty vanilla. But the adventure on this one is for a blue and colorless, scry 1, then draw a card. That seems pretty sweet for a dragon deck. Doesn't like those multiple choice and extra options to really get you going. Next, we have Bane's Contingency. So, for 2 blue and 1, it's an instant, and it counters. Oh, excuse me. And it counters a spell. Now, if the spell targets a commander you control that you counter, you instead counter the spell, scry 2, and then draw a card. Because clearly, scrying 2 is not enough. You have to actually replace itself, make it a cantrip. Basically, you have to turn this into a counterspell plus Serum Visions minus the extra blue. This card is phenomenal. It's going to be probably $2, $3 uncommon at least. And the foils for this thing are going to be absurd because people are going to play this. Because everybody has to have a commander, and if you're going to play counterspells, what better one to play than this? So, moving on. Next we have, you're confronted by robbers. Well, I'm broke, so they're out of luck. No, seriously. It's a white and 3 instant. You can stall for time, tap up to 3 target creatures, not too bad. Or call for aid and create 3 1/1s that are soldier creature tokens. This is pretty sweet for token decks, although 4 mana is a bit much, but the ability to create 3 is pretty cool for white. So, yeah. Moving on. We have Banishment. This is a good one. White and 3 enchantment. It has flash. So at any time you can put it in, and when you do, Banishment enters the battlefield. You exile target non-land permanent and opponent controls, and all other non-land permanents the opponent controls with the same name until this leaves the battlefield. This is basically, not Reflector Mage. God, I'm having a brain fart. Anyway, there's that white-blue creature that lets you get other creatures and all things with the same name. This for 4 mana lets you get anything. Anything. So, this is going to be sweet. Everybody's going to play it. Foil probably going to be expensive. Moving on. Next we have Stone Skin. So the good old spell. White and 2, it has flash. Enchanted creature gets +0/+10. Yeah, basically, please don't kill me. I don't think it's going to see a whole lot of play. Unless you're playing the butt fight deck. And for those of you who don't know what butt fighting is, Google it. No, I'm joking. The butt fight deck is where all your stuff are walls or what have you, and they deal damage equal to their defense. In a deck like that, this could be devastating for 3 mana. But it's probably only good in that deck, so unless you're playing butt fight, it's probably not going to be very expensive, so Next we have Dragonborn Looter. So for a blue and 1, you get a 1/2. It's a dragon rogue common for 1 and tapping it. You get to draw a card and then discard a card. It is the worst version of Merfolk Looter because you got to pay mana for it. But it is a 1/2. Still not worth the extra mana. Play Merfolk Looter. And then once you play Merfolk Looter, play this. Unless you have better spells because it is blue and you probably have better spells. Anyway, moving on. Next we have your temple is under attack. I don't have a temple. Anyway, 1 white and 2 instant. Pray for protection. Creatures you control gain indestructible at the end of turn. That is insane. Let's just take a minute to see how good that common is. Basic creature you control gain indestructible. All your creatures for 3 mana. Anytime. This is nuts. Strike a deal. You and target opponent each draw 2 cards. Again, that's insane. All kinds of pillow fighting going on here. This is just an amazing common. I say that a lot, but I really mean it. It's good. All right, next we have Wild Magic Surge. This one's really interesting. So for 2 red, you have an uncommon instant. Destroy target permanent opponent controls. Its controller reveals cards from the top of their library until they reveal a permanent card that shares the card type with the permanent. They then put that onto the battlefield and the rest on the bottom of the random order. I originally thought this card was not going to be too hot. However, it does kill a permanent. And the other thing that I'm thinking here is if you have a deck where, let's say it's a Beamtown Bullies deck, where you're giving your opponent creatures, you can kill that creature and get a better creature on your side. Probably not, though, because, again, Beamtown Bully deck, they don't want their creatures. So also what that means is if you're playing this card and they go, oh, here's a creature that's going to make you lose 2 turns, you can literally go, all right, I'm going to Wild Magic Surge it, destroy the creature I'm controlling, and then reveal cards from the top of my library and get me a new one. It seems pretty sweet. So maybe this has a purpose. We'll have to wait and see. All right, next we have the Vexing Puzzle Box Mythic. This thing seems awesome. So for 3 cuddle, this is an artifact. Whenever you roll 1 more die, you put a number of charge counters on the puzzle box equal to the result. Tap, add 1 mana of any color, and roll a d20. Next, remove 100 charge counters from the puzzle box. Search your library for an artifact card. Put that card on the battlefield, then shuffle. This seems amazing, and there's so many cards that make you roll dice and just pile up counters on the puzzle box, and then just go start fetching artifacts out of your deck. I think this may be the hot card of the set. So I'm going to probably say buy them while you can, because if nothing else, it stands alone. It's just fine because you tap it for any colored mana, so it's a good rock. 3 is a little expensive, but still, it's a good rock. Plus, it gets to roll automatically. So you're eventually going to get there anyway. So, yeah, I think this is going to be the bomb. Next, we have Ancient Bronze Dragon. This mythic, which is a 2 green and 5 for a 7/7 flyer. When this punches someone in the face, you roll a die 20, and when you do, you put that many +1/+1 counters on each of up to 2 target creatures. You could have 2 1/1s, punch them in the face for 7, roll a die 20, get a 19. Now you have 2 20/20s. This is absurd. Again, worth lots of money. I know, I sound like a broken record. I just can't help myself. So, next we have the Undermountain Adventurer. Love Undermountain. Green and 3 for a 3/4 Vigi. When Undermountain Adventurer enters the battlefield, you get to take the initiative, which is sweet. He has Vigilance, so he can attack, plus power your spells by tapping him for 2 green. And if you completed the dungeon, he taps for 6 green. That's insane. I think this is going to be a very powerful card. Easily a $5 rare. Next, we have Nothic. Whatever the hell that is. Obviously, it's a big eyeball. Anyway, so for a black and 4, you get a horror because, yeah, this is what that is. You get a 4/3. Now, when it dies, you get to roll die 20. If it's 1 through 9, you get to draw a card and lose life. Not terrible. 19 through 20, you get to draw 2 cards, lose 3 life, or lose 2 life, which is also still fair. If you get a 20, you get to draw 7 cards and lose 7 life, which may kill you or may win you the game because that's insane. So I do like this card a lot, but at 5 mana, I probably don't see it doing a whole lot right off the bat, unless there's maybe some weird combo with it. So we have Patriarch Seal. So for 3 colorless, we have a great mana rock that taps for any color. And for 1 and tapping it, you can untap target legendary creature you control. If you're playing a legendary deck, that can be a thing. There might be better rocks out there than this one, but the extra ability on this one may put it above some of the other ones depending on what your deck's doing. Next, moving on, we have the Altar of Baul. So for a black and 1, you get an artifact that says, for a black and 2, tap, exile creature you control, return target creature card from graveyard to the battlefield, activate only as a sorcery, more graveyard shenanigans on a stick. But you gotta have other creatures to throw away to it. That's where the tokens come in. And for example, you have the adventure side, which is Bone Offering for a black and 2, create a tapped 4/1 black skeleton creature token with menace, where if you can't get through to punch him in the face, you can just exile it and get some absurd thing out of your graveyard and put it on the battlefield for free. Which is, the latter is probably more of what's really going to happen. So yeah, gonna be a great card. Surprise, it's only a rare, and it's gonna be worth a lot of money. Again. Next we have Candlekeep Inspiration. So for a blue and 4, you have a sorcery. Until end of turn, creatures you control have base power and toughness XX, where X is the number of cards that you own in exile and in your graveyard that are instants, sorceries, and adventure cards. So it gives a whole new meaning to the word, I'm going to punch you in the face for a whole lot because my graveyard's got 12 cards in it. Because now they don't have to be just instants and sorceries, they can be graveyard cards. So those creature cards that have those adventures on them, as the opponent's knocking them around and killing them and putting them in your graveyard, could very well be spelling their own doom when your flying man all of a sudden becomes a 25/25 and the carpet drags his big butt over to kill the opponent. So anyway, moving on. Next we have Ballroom Brawl. So we have a green and 1 sorcery. Target creature you control fights another creature an opponent controls. Then that player, which is the opponent you just used, copies a spell and does the exact same thing. That's right. As soon as you cast this and kill one thing, it's game on. Everybody in the bar is throwing down. However, this is going to be a very fun deck for some shenanigans, and I love this card and what it does. It's hilarious. All right, next, moving on, we have the giant ankh hedge, if that's how you say that. 2 green and 6 for an 8/8 with trample and ward 2, because why not? And then also, if you manage to get this thing on the field, other creatures you control have trample and ward 2 also, because you managed to put this thing on the field, you probably deserve that. This is going to be a great card again for those graveyard shenanigan decks. So, moving on. Next, we have the draconic, I almost said demonic, draconic muralists. So for a green and 3, you get a 4/3. When it dies, you may search your library for a dragon card, reveal it, and put it into your hand. This seems absurd and very unnecessary. Because it's already a 4/3 for 4, and now you can go get any dragon you want in your deck, which basically means this is a uncommon tutor. So, I'm sure you guys know what a tutor is, and in Commander, that's insane. Because you're playing one-ofs, so it's not like this thing dying and getting more one-ofs. And again, let me take you back to graveyard shenanigans, put it back in play, let it die again, go get more dragons, so forth, and so on. I think this is going to be an amazing uncommon, which is going to see a lot more play than people think. Next, moving on, we have Taunting Cobalt. That's right, there's a Cobalt. Thank you, Lord. Kobolds are back. So for 1 red, you get an 0/1. It has haste, so it can punch you in the face for nothing. Because that's what Kobolds do. But if it does punch you in the face for something because it attacks, you get to go target creature an opponent controls. So until your next turn, that creature attacks each combat if able, and attacks a player other than yourself. So if you can get this bad boy in there and keep him alive, whatever it is that's swinging at your face won't be swinging at your face. It'll be swinging at somebody else's face. And that's probably a better face to be swinging at. Did I mention it's a Cobalt? That's awesome. So anyway, moving on. Next, we have Chaotic Cave Adventurer. So I found this one very interesting, other than the art being amazing. For a red and 3, you get a human barbarian with trample. It's a 5/3. Okay, that's probably pretty normal for this color. However, when it enters the battlefield, you get to take the initiative. Also cool, good bonus. Whenever the adventurer attacks, exile top card of your library. If you've completed the dungeon, you may play that card this turn without paying its mana cost. Otherwise, you may just play the card. So, once you complete a dungeon, this thing is just one tap away from you casting Ulamog off the top of your deck and making somebody's day really suck. Um, or since it's commander, you could actually cast Emrakul from the top of your deck and then just end the game. And you can do that with a brainstorm if it's in your hand, put it back on top. Hey, I'm not going to get into it. I'm sure you guys will figure out lots of really, really absurd and just disgusting things to do with this card. Yeah, give it haste. Anyway, moving on before somebody gets really upset before the card gets released. All right, we have the windshaper Planadar. Anyway, for a white and 4, you get a 4/4 flyer with flash. Okay, that's pretty good. Now, when this thing enters the battlefield, um, if it enters the battlefield during the declare attacker step, so you declare your attackers, so then you cast this, and for each attacking creature, you may reselect which player or planeswalker creature is attacking. They can't attack their own players or their own planeswalkers. However, in a group shenanigan game, you quite literally can have 2 people who's ganging up on you, and when one person taps you down so that the other person can punch you in the face and kill you, literally can put this into play and have the opponent kill his friend so that he's then tapped out, and now you get a turn to untap and kill him. I think this card is amazing. It's got great shenanigan ability, and it's going to be really fun and frustrating for lots of people, and that's why I like it. So, moving on, next, we have... Oh, we're all done. Well, at least the last one was good. Thanks a lot for your time, guys. I do appreciate it. This was a little longer. But, man, we're putting out a lot of them spoilers. There's about 90 cards left. Yeah, this set's like 300 and something. This is absurd. But we have about 90 cards left, so we got a couple more days of spoilers before we get to see the whole set. And we're really starting to see some pretty sweet ones come out now, Mythics and Rares. Hopefully there's more to come. As always, guys, till next time, be kind. And I hope to see you across from the game table.